Welcome to the Restoring Balance podcast, where two lifelong friends get together to rewatch and discuss why they love Avatar: The Last Airbender. I'm Mike.
And I'm Jim. Today, we're discussing Book 1, Episode 12, The Storm.
Okay, folks, we have an absolute banger of an episode today. I don't know, I feel like ever since the beginning of Avatar, I've been waiting for this one. This is like when it gets real in my mind.
Until now, we haven't known their backstories, of course, and this episode provides that. Especially for Zuko. Until this point, you have no idea why he's so gung-ho about getting Aang, and we finally get to learn. It like unlocks the show.
Yeah, we have no idea why he's such a jerk. Until today. We've watched this a few times now in preparation for the podcast, and this last watch, I saw it, okay? In the lightning bolt that ends the dream sequence, there is a silhouette of the Fire Lord. Well, just a jacked man silhouette, but we know it to be the Fire Lord.
Yep, that's the first time we see the Fire Lord in the show.
So that's like a little bit of a sort of spiritual connection right there, because Aang doesn't know what the Fire Lord looks like, but then supposedly in his dream, there is the shadow of the man he will have to face at the end of all of this. It's obviously foreshadowing for us, but it's a little bit of spiritual foreshadowing for Aang.
Still, just a silhouette, as you mentioned. We don't get to see the Fire Lord's face until later on in season 3.
They simply won't do it.
And I like that they don't. They leave it up to our imagination.
I like it as well. When it comes to how to develop anxiety or fear in an audience, like the way you do it in a horror movie is if you show the villain
or the monster.
Yeah, exactly. All of the dread and wonder and worry that was surrounding it is now dispelled. Because you're like, oh, no, it's a guy with a mask and a chainsaw. I get that. If I close the door, I'll have like 5 seconds before he cuts it down. But before you understand the creature, it could be anything. And that's where fear lives. So it's like that. I could see them trying to create the fear in the Fire Lord like that.
And to take it just a step further, and we'll get to this when we actually see his face in season 3, that expectation is subverted. He's a normal looking guy.
They hit him for so long, and then eventually, I don't know if they make a big deal of the reveal, but eventually they just reveal it, and he looks like a guy. I mean, he looks kind of like an angry guy, handsome, angry guy.
Yeah, just a normal guy. But it's his intentions and actions.
Capable of so much evil.
Right. When our group here wakes up and prepares for their day, it looks like such a nice day to them.
Yeah, Aang makes an offhanded comment like, look at the clear skies. This will be easy flying to the market.
And in those clear skies, we see some geese flying in that classic V shape. And that shot maintains its continuity as we transition to Iroh and Zuko.
Not the match cut.
It implies to the viewer that they must be close. Subconsciously, they didn't use any words. And you know how much I love when they don't use words, but communicate things to us. Now we're looking at Zuko and Iroh says the opposite.
There is a storm coming. A big one.
You're out of your mind, Uncle. The weather's perfect. There's not a cloud in sight.
Iroh just completely disagrees with Aang.
Uh-huh.
But we see this motif of similar conversation happening within the parties of Aang and Zuko separately throughout the episode. And I think that's just a testament to the writing here, where every sentence that is said is made use of for storytelling.
Yeah, and sometimes multiple ways.
Because in this one example, it's an offhanded comment, the weather's nice, great. That's what Aang basically says. And so we'd immediately, like you said, cut over to Iroh saying the opposite, but it does so much, as you like to say. It does so much because it shows Aang's naivete and lack of understanding, but his optimistic outlook. Great. It shows Iroh's wisdom and knowledge of the stuff.
And experience, life experience, yep.
Exactly. It leads into the premise of the episode, which is, oops, there's a storm now. And it allows Zuko to have a disagreement setting off the entire plotline on his ship. And that's just Aang saying, nice weather we're having.
And don't forget that this storm is a metaphor for the storm inside Aang and Zuko individually.
And it's a parallel storm to the one that puts him in the iceberg in the first place.
It's beautiful. What a great time we're having here. Aaron Ehas is the GOAT. He writes all my favorite episodes.
Aaron Ehas famously is the lead writer,
Yep,
I
the head
believe,
writer.
on this episode. Head writer.
He wrote this episode, and he's the head writer of the team of writers that write the episodes.
In general.
Yes.
And then he just takes the lead on the bangers.
Oh my God, and he does it well.
It's a thing, guys. Like, the twinkling of the music going out, the end title screen, and Aaron Ehas right at the top.
And I just clap every
A
time.
single tear goes down his cheek. Aaron, you've done it again.
He's so good.
The way Sokka gets responded to after he volunteers to do the job, and the man's like, double? Who told you that nonsense? Like, I would back out immediately. Like, this man is not to be trusted.
Yeah, it is pretty wild.
That is a horrible start to their relationship. Their relationship is him arguing with his wife, saying there's not a storm coming, going back on a deal he proposed, and then, like, what, an hour later the storm comes?
Well, I mean, to his point, he was saying that strictly to emphasize how he felt towards what his wife was saying, not for anybody else to hear.
You don't think he meant it?
It just happened to be that Saga heard it and was like, "Ooh, let me hold you to that."
Yeah.
He's like, whoa, you weren't supposed to hear that.
I think you're right, because we find out later it's his wife. They don't say it immediately.
Mm-hmm.
But if it's your wife that's helping you fish, like, you're not paying her a wage, are you? Like, you guys share in the wages, presumably. So he says, I'll pay them double what you're getting. It's like, well, she's not getting anything that you're not, really. But also, I love the implication, because he ends up giving Sokka a fish in the end. So the implication is that he pays his wife half a fish. Because that's double.
Ah, yes. I've never thought about that. I like how when she says the boy with the tattoos has some sense after Aang tells Sokka that he doesn't think it's a good idea when he sees the clouds approaching.
Every sentence is jam-packed.
Yeah. The old man says to himself, tattoos, airbender tattoos. He figures out that this must be the Avatar with that one line. Intelligently so, right? And at the same time, it reminds us that the airbenders are gone. Airbenders get tattoos, and that those blue arrows just are actually tattoos. I always forgot watching the show when I was younger. And I even remember thinking about like how somebody so young has tattoos. And it's like, wait, those aren't actually tattoos, are they?
They never have a scene where Aang gets tatted up. He talks about the tattoos, but they just say it in an offhanded manner, kind of like that. I mean, that might be the most of a spotlight they've ever given it.
Yeah.
Being tattoos. They're such bold tattoos that they don't even read like tattoos. They're so thick, you know?
Right.
And they glow, so they feel like a part of his body.
Mm-hmm.
But they are just the tattoos that an airbending master gets that we see, and we'll get there when there are other flashbacks. His masters have the same tattoos. But it's very interesting that both Aang and Zuko are marked by their past in a way that makes them instantly recognizable. The banished prince with the scar from his father, and then the boy airbending master covered in tattoos. Like, if you just see their face, you know who they are. They can't escape their past.
It's special. They're the same, but they're like opposite too. Zuko's scar's red. Aang's tattoos are blue.
Yeah.
Aang's name starts with an A. Zuko's name starts with a Z. You know what I mean? Like, it's so intentional.
They make quite the pair. They make a goofy pair when they finally, spoilers, unite in the end.
I agree.
But they figure it out. Here's the thing about after the old man recognizes Aang, he just starts going on Aang. He's like, you weren't here, you disappeared when we needed you. Like, what are you doing, dude? Like, you seriously showing your face? But I don't understand. He assumes Aang turned his back on the world. He's like yelling at Aang like it was him who did it. Aang's 12 years old. He doesn't know Aang's backstory about being frozen. So how does he think Aang turned his back on the world? It wasn't Aang. It was the previous Avatar in his mind, like any logical person.
Well, not a lot of people are very logical, Mr. Michael.
Well, what if we gave him a very generous read And he was just blaming the whole lineage of avatars because he was deeply in touch with the spiritual nature of the avatar's lineage. How about that? You think the fisherman was thinking about that?
0% chance.
Okay, so he was just putting his own emotions about how the world was shit onto Aang.
Yeah, that's how us humans tend to work sometimes.
That's fair. Another strike against the fisherman.
In the same way that the fisherman doesn't know Aang's backstory, what right does he have to judge him? We could say to ourselves for judging Zuko until we know his backstory.
We could say it about the fisherman, and that we can't judge him until we know his backstory. Now we're finally being compassionate.
This show has taught us well.
Wow, I learned so much. Fisherman, I'm sorry. Sign me up. Get me on the ship with you.
To the fisherman's credit, there have been 100 years of war and suffering. And honestly, out of all of the other characters that have realized they're meeting the Avatar so far in the series, he is the first one to call him out.
Aang did kind of cause this to happen. He couldn't have known he would be frozen for 100 years, but he took a pretty irresponsible move. He was 12. I don't blame him, but it resulted in the situation we have today.
To point out another parallel that is opposite between Aang and Zuko, what got Aang here?
An opposite parallel?
An opposite parallel, yeah.
An intersection?
What got Aang here was a selfish decision. But what put Zuko in the position that he's in was a selfless one.
Yeah, Aang was selfishly running away from his problems. He was afraid he would be removed from his friends and family. But Zuko was selflessly defending his fellow countrymen who we thought were going to be used as pawns in a war, and they would die.
And it was out of a drive to become a great leader. He knew that that was in his future. So he put himself in a position to be in this meeting. He wasn't invited. He's worried about his ability to live up to that role. So he's taking the steps.
He took the initiative. He begged Iroh to join. And the saddest part is that Iroh warned him of this exact thing. He said it in the most respectful way possible. He's like,
Very well. But you must promise not to speak. These old folks are a bit sensitive, you know?
which is to say they're absolute jerks.
Yeah.
And then if you speak up, they will punish you. It's so sad that he still did it because he heard that people who devoted their lives to the Fire Nation were going to be used as pawns and killed.
I mean, if I was in his position, I would absolutely think that this is a case where my thoughts are certainly worth hearing because they're so justifiably right.
Oh, that's funny. If I were in that situation, I would just become disillusioned with the political process and be like, wow, these guys have got it so wrong. I wouldn't say anything because obviously that's what's going to happen. One, I was told not to speak up. Two, I catch the vibe. This is his proposed plan. Nobody's saying anything. They know what's happening. I'm like, whoa, these guys might be evil, bro.
Yeah.
So, but I'm not saying anything.
Zuko's punishment for doing that, for standing up for those men, taught him that that's not what you do and that those men don't matter.
They're expendable.
And of course, as we go on the ship and say the safety of the crew doesn't matter, that's the lesson he was taught.
Interesting, because he yells it out in anger because it's going to be getting in the way of him trying to find the Avatar. And so it could be that hard-earned lesson that got punched right into his face of the troops don't matter. You know, it's about the mission.
Tactical advantage. In that moment, when Zuko says that the safety of the crew doesn't matter and then proceeds to turn around, go to his crew member and double down on what he's saying, they have an altercation.
Lieutenant, you'd better learn some respect, or I will teach it to you.
Zuko has the same intentionality with how he's treating his lieutenant as his father does as he beats down on his son in the Agni Kai.
Yep.
And that's insane.
When Ozai says,
You will fight for your honor.
I meant you no disrespect. I am your loyal son.
Rise and fight, Prince Zuko.
I won't fight you.
You will learn respect and suffering will be your teacher. I looked away.
Mark Hamill's voice is always welcome. Absolutely phenomenal. Nails it. Like whenever Iroh delivers a great line, it like really gets me going. I just feel it in my body. But from there, Zuko's having this altercation with the lieutenant, and Iroh is the only one that knows the significance of Zuko's actions here and why he's making them. So you just see Iroh in the background, like holding his forehead, like, oh,
Head bowed.
yeah. And I'm telling you, in my life, I found myself knowing the people that I was with better than any of the other individuals knew the people that we were with, right? So like in my daycare, I very quickly got to know a lot of the kids there on a pretty personal level. And the different kids kind of stayed in their own separate groups. But when we all got together to play a game, these personalities might clash. Every time that we played like hide and seek, whatever game, I had to be very intentional with my direction and word choice to different kids to make sure that the situation would go well. For me, the most important thing is that everybody is having as much fun as possible. If that's happening, then I'm having the most fun that I can have. So I very delicately and intentionally will manipulate the situation to optimize the happiness for everyone involved.
Yeah, you're like the most benevolent manipulator I know. Because you try to puppet situations somewhat, but only for the benefit of everyone involved.
In order to do that, you need to know what works well for those individuals.
Because I know I'm sort of like the opposite in a situation. I'm like, if I were to cater to somebody, that would be unfair. I'm much less like this now. But I remember as a kid, I'm like, I need to be the most direct and the most clear, explain it the best way, and then everybody will understand and it will be fine.
Yeah, I guess you eventually found out that it's not how it works, huh?
It's not really how it works, if you can believe it. We all have a backstory, and it changes how we see the world. After Aang is chased off by the fishermen and Katara follows him to the cave in the mountainside, they get into why Aang has been feeling this way with the bad dreams and being really confronted by the rude words of the fishermen. But I don't want to get into any of that deep stuff, okay? All I want to talk about is how nerdy all the airbenders look. What's up with that? They all look so freaking nerdy, dude. Have you seen them?
Dude, none of them have tattoos, man. Until you get tattoos, you look lame.
They all like bald and pudgy and little guys. Like, what are they doing?
I like that they had like the one weird kid that they just all know that they got to figure out what
to do with
his
him.
role is going to play in and all that. I love it.
What was the deal? Like, seriously, when they find out Aang is the Avatar, they stop letting him play. That doesn't make any sense, guys.
Yeah, that is tough.
It doesn't make any sense. For one, obviously, he's the same kid he was 10 minutes ago before you found out, and you let him play before. You already knew he was a prodigy. He has the tattoos. Already accounted for the fact that he is good at airbending. And second, if it meant so much, just give his team one fewer player. Like, I don't know what you want. Or put him on the team with that kid who freaking nods with his whole body. I'm mad for him.
It happens, man.
I wish if I were there, I could be like, this doesn't make any sense. Because I do that now.
Camp counselor Mike.
Yeah,
get him in
step
there.
in. They need some supervision, bro. Where are the adults at?
Yeah, it's tough.
And speaking of where are the girls at, dude?
No girls.
No women, no girls, no nothing there.
Well, there are air nomads that are female. I don't.
One of the avatars was a female air nomad, the previous. But they're all little boys. All the masters were men. So I don't know what's going on. Maybe they keep them separate, like on different hilltops.
It's a good question because in later flashbacks in the show, we do see female air nomads. And It may just be the fact that this is season 1 and the air nomads are based on monks from where?
Tibet.
Tibet. There you go.
The air nomads are based off of Tibetan Buddhists, bro.
Right. And I don't think there are any girls
in the order of that.
Right. So then I think probably initially here, if I had to guess, they were sticking to the people that they're basing their nomads off of. This culture doesn't have any women.
This culture doesn't have women.
Guess.
That's crazy to say.
I actually don't know a lot about that culture, so
well, I
forgive
recently
my ignorance.
I recently found out that the Pope in the papacy can't possibly be it. Is that the name?
I don't know.
In the Catholic Church, I didn't know women couldn't be priests or cardinals or popes. I didn't realize it was a thing until recently. I found out because I'm not Catholic or anything. So I think we have a long tradition of excluding women from things. Unfortunately,
they start to be included later in the show. That's for sure.
Yeah. So at least they fixed that. They're all on a field trip right now, dude. Relax.
There you go. Sure.
But speaking of the Buddhist influences on the air nomads, that was really hit home for me in this episode. Because we don't see a lot of Aang's culture other than when they visit his temple.
Yeah.
But everybody's dead. We get a few flashbacks.
Mm-hmm.
But in this one, you really get to see kind of how they used to live. They were atop this mountain living an idyllic lifestyle. And it just really shows how the Avatar is like a Dalai Lama-esque figure. And the Enlightened One, who is a reincarnation of a past life, like that's the underpinnings of the Dalai Lama. Supposedly, there's like selection ceremonies just like the Avatar has in the show, where they go to nearby villages looking for the next reincarnation of the Dalai Lama. And I thought I had heard that they did a similar thing to the toys. I think they keep it under wraps, the exact selection method. But I thought there was something about selecting the correct toys or correct iconography that's associated with the previous Dalai Lama.
Mm-hmm.
And not only that, did you know that many of the Dalai Lama's names had gyatso?
No.
Like their names were gyatso. Like a lot of them were gyatso.
Interesting.
Like as a middle name. I'm a little bit fuzzy on the detail because they had a lot of names.
Uh-huh.
And so I think like as one of their monikers, there's gyatso. Maybe it's a title. Or you know how some cultures have many names? I don't know.
Yeah.
Like son of this, father of that, blah, blah, blah. Gyatso of this, gyatso of that.
Interesting. I can tell you for certain that the creators have mentioned that the Avatar was based on the Dalai Lama.
Well, it came through.
The concept, at least. And yeah, it has certainly come through for you.
And I know we're not talking about them right now, but seeing in the flashbacks the Fire Nation commander's armor, like never before have I been struck by how much it looks like samurai armor.
Until watching this episode?
Yeah, I guess I was thinking about the historical influences even more this episode.
Yeah.
And you can see the layers of... They have like metal sheets, and the samurai, I'm not sure they had metal, but they had those layers of thick padding that frilled out just like that. And I was like, oh, I know they're supposed to be Japanese. Like the Fire Nation's on the small island. They look kind of Japanese.
Their architecture and their buildings.
Exactly. But I was like, oh, even their armor, it looks like samurai garb.
Yep.
I didn't realize.
In the same way, the air nomads have their monk robes as well. All of the culture's clothing, their looks, their style, their architecture, their way of life, all based on real people and cultures.
Exactly. But here's the thing that I just realized. They mix those real cultures with realistic expectations of how cultures that are involved with bending elements would form, because the Fire Nation has forges. They make metal armor, but also metal is non-flammable, so they can't catch their armor on fire while they're bending. The air nomads bend air, and they use their flowy robes to help capture air somewhat. Aang has used his outfit many times as a parachute, so it's like very interesting.
Just awesome.
And don't think I forgot that Aang invented the air scooter, because I did, and I was reminded when I watched this. I was like, what? He's the one? He's that guy?
I don't know if this is canon or not, but I remember reading something somewhere that in order to become an airbending master, you have to master so many techniques. And yeah, I think there was making a new one as part of that list. Or if you made a new one, it could replace something on the list. You know what I mean?
I like that a lot. So he did the air scooter.
I like to think that it's canon.
It's my canon.
Gyatso, his best friend and father figure in this backstory, is shown to still prioritize the fact that Aang is a kid and he should still have opportunity to have fun.
I think that's pretty wise.
I agree. He sees Gyatso cares so much about him and will prioritize his happiness.
And then you have that monk with the long goatee arguing the opposite. And you and I both separately recognized his voice.
Which is uncommon for you. I'm proud of you, brother.
I really like the source material on this one. The voice of that monk, allow me to be the one to reveal it,
Please.
is the voice of Poe's father from Kung Fu Panda, the duck.
My man, Mr. Ping.
Mr. Ping.
The one and only.
Yeah, good voice, good voice.
Good character. Now, for the challenge, voice actor.
I forfeit.
The monk that ultimately decides that Aang should be sent away.
You can't do this to me, dude. It's Slade.
No, it's not. That monk's voice is the deserter, Zhong Zhong.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I wouldn't. And I couldn't. I'm not usually one. Listen, buddy. You know those peeling videos where they peel off all that stuff and it's satisfying? I don't find it satisfying. I don't care. Listen, there's a lot of things like that where I'm just like, I don't get it. I don't understand. But something I love is the vibe of there being a dark and stormy night, but we're inside by the fire telling stories. That I like a lot. And Iroh's entrance into like the boiler room of the ship or whatever you want to call it, the coal furnace that runs it, don't know, don't care, is great. They're like gossiping about Zuko, being like, what a jerk, dude, this freaking kid. And then Iroh's like, you want to know what happened to him? What'd he say?
That's in response to, where does he get off?
Where does this guy get off?
And Iroh says, do you really want to know?
You really want to know where he gets off? It's in his room.
Do you really want to know?
General Iroh.
And this leads into Iroh just casually dropping state secrets in the middle of this ship, just giving away the royal family's freaking airing out their dirty laundry.
Yeah.
And Zuko's like deepest personal details right under his nose.
Well, don't forget too, like they also know that they're listening to this dirty laundry from the royal family from the guy who was first in line to be the next Fire Lord.
Yeah, and he got screwed out of that by the man who scarred the captain of their ship.
Yeah. I mean, if you're the crew here, you might think twice about your loyalty here.
Messy, 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 bro.
Yeah.
They have different styles for the flashbacks. The Fire Nation one reminds me of old photos.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and then at one point they show old photos in a beautiful transition where you see the innocent young Zuko and then the hardest cut to the deepest frown lines on a scarred teenage face.
An incredible transition from the backstory back to real time. And it's right after Iroh says that the Avatar gives Zuko hope.
Things will never return to normal. But the important thing is, the Avatar gives Zuko hope.
Yes, but that's right after Katara says to Aang,
I know it's meant to be this way. The world needs you now. You give people hope.
now that is what I'm talking about. I didn't notice that on our first rewatch here. And that relates back to what I was saying before, where they have similar conversations between the two parties of Zuko's group and Aang's group with different meanings, but both are just beautiful storytelling.
And they're both happening in front of a campfire. Love to see it.
We love a campfire.
Her encouragement for Aang is very good.
I like seeing Aang get emotional there
Yeah.
because this should be impactful to him. I mean, he was angry at his monk leadership for deciding he should be taken away.
And when he recalls that, his avatar state flares up for a second there. That was cool, man. Really cool idea and good presentation.
Oh, you know what? You know what I just realized?
What?
In the flashback, we see Gyatso going into Aang's room. We actually don't know what Gyatso is going to do, but he says to him, I won't let them take you from me. But Aang never sees that. So this is like a classic move where it's like, here's what you don't see. You know, here's what the character doesn't see, but a little bit extra characterization.
Mm-hmm. Dramatic irony.
Wow. Now that's a pull. That's actually correct, I think.
Why is it gotta be so surprising?
Whoa, I'm blown away. That's funny. The audience knows something that the character does not. This guy went all the way back to high school for that one. Wait a second.
Hey man, I listen sometimes.
To bring it back to Zuko's backstory, we find out with Zuko in the scene that he is going to be dueling his father. When we're positioned behind Zuko, he throws off his sash, and then as it drifts down, Iroh reveals that the man who he would fight was not in fact the general, it was the Fire Lord himself. But here's the problem. I feel like the reveal would have a lot more punch if we could actually see the Fire Lord. Because they made the decision to not show him for 2 more seasons, I don't know, what if that was the time to reveal the Fire Lord? Maybe that was the time.
I guess I could have taken it, but I think I'm still glad that we didn't see his face.
But even though we don't see Zuko's father's face, guess whose face we do see?
Azula.
This is the first time we see Azula in the series. From the very beginning, we understand her to be absolutely crazy because I don't. She just has a problem. Okay, she has a problem because the first time we see her, she's rooting for her father to maim her brother.
Yep.
Like she is fist clenched in excitement. She can't contain it.
So is Zhao.
Yeah, just screw that guy. Why is he here? He's not even an admiral in that time. Why is he here?
He's not an admiral yet in the show so far, too.
Oh, I think he got promoted to admiral.
He gets promoted in the next episode.
I thought it was when they needed repairs.
Nah. He's commander now.
Ah, this guy is rising through the ranks. My God.
Dude. When you got that kind of blind loyalty.
When you got those mutton chops, my God, the world is your oyster. Come on, Azula. She's a lost cause. I don't know why I ever... Come on, dude.
I think she's the best antagonist of the series.
The Fire Lord is hidden away for most of the show. He never gets fleshed out character-wise. Azula hunts them. She's a great villain. And the other villains get turned into freaking heroes, kinda. They're like anti-heroes by the end. What I'm left feeling after Zuko's flashback is just infuriation. Because his whole backstory amounts to he was trying to be a good son and prince, speaking out for his people, and trying to do his responsibilities by learning what it meant to be a leader. And he gets disfigured and banished because he wouldn't fight his father, whom he respected too much. It's like, I'm livid. That's his story. He's like 14 years old, kicked out for that.
13 years old.
Thanks.
I knew he was 13 because this moment comes full circle when Zuko confronts his father in the 3rd season. I have this scene just imprinted in my mind because it's so powerful. He says, "You, my father, who challenged me, a 13-year-old boy, to an Agni Kai. My father, who banished me just for speaking out of turn." We've been cutting back and forth from Aang to Zuko, and now both of them are taking action as the episode continues that reflect the type of person that we know they really are. Good, capable guys. Aang is going out to save Sokka. Zuko is going to save his helmsman.
Well, before he leaves, Aang has to be told that Sokka's in trouble, which I have an issue. Riddle me this.
All right.
How the hell did that lady find them in that cave? Because it was already a stretch that Katara found Aang in the cave, okay? She was just flying on Appa like, where'd Aang go? Yo, look, a cave. I guess he's there. Crazy. And then, I didn't see any stairs going to it. How did the old lady get up there? Let's just assume there's stairs. Why would she go there? What's going on?
In the rain.
In the rain.
In the storm.
Random position. Like,
Yeah.
here's the best I got. It's a well-known cave with a walkway. There's the glow of a fire by it. She asked people, where did the Avatar go? He flew off that way. She made an educated guess. I guess she must really care about her husband.
Seems pretty good to me.
Very reasonable.
Very reasonable.
I took the wind out of my own sails.
That's tough. I'm right there with you though. Makes sense to me. I love that when they do leave, she's like, I'm staying here.
Oh, yeah.
Just cracks me up every time.
They always sneak in the little jokes, and we appreciate them for it.
So here we have Zuko with this attitude towards his crew that they're just here and they're disposable. But as we learn about his true nature, we see him presented with the opportunity to show us the way he really is, and he seizes it immediately. He saves the helmsman. And in a similar way, Aang runs away from this accusation that he's turned his back on the world. But after having this campfire talk with Katara, he, again, just as Zuko does, seizes the opportunity to be the person that we know he is and save Sokka and the old man.
And Zuko jumps in without hesitation. He's the first person to act, to try to help the helmsman with no regard for his own safety. There's literally lightning going off all around them. The rungs are slippery. It's smoking where it was struck, and the ship is like lilting dangerously back and forth. He's just climbing up the ladder as fast as he can.
Yep.
And he ends up grabbing the man as he's falling off.
Now that's somebody that I want to have in charge of my ship.
Exactly.
I'd be on that crew.
That's a leader. And Aang, in the same vein, he's sort of confronting the totality of his trauma in this, because it was all caused by him running away from his responsibility.
And here he's facing it.
And he was caught in a storm. And this storm has signified the trauma for him. He's been having dreams, Katara says, for a while now about his past. And now he's sort of going right into his fear to save his newfound friend.
And that gives us the context to the lesson that Aang states he's learned at the end of the episode. That he's done dwelling on the past and that he's here now and he's going to make the most of it.
Yeah, and talk about exposure therapy. Like going right into another storm.
Yeah, imagine how scared he must have been. Especially having had the experience he had 100 years ago.
I was looking on his face trying to find any fear or any indication that this was really difficult for him.
Mm-hmm.
I wish they would have pushed more on the storm being an ordeal for him.
I mean, sometimes, though, you get that pep talk and you're just...
That's all you need.
I'll go do it right now. You know, it's like it removes the fear.
The man, the myth, the legend, Uncle Iroh, shows off a little something he learned while studying the waterbenders.
He sure does.
He used his vast sea of chi to redirect the lightning into the actual sea.
And just as he sensed the storm coming, he seemed to sense that the lightning was coming as well, which I just found interesting.
Yeah, he was in position and ready for it.
Yeah.
As opposed to a famous scene where Zuko is begging the sky to strike him down, and it will not. Iroh just goes to where it's going to be.
Seed planted, man.
Yeah, they do it in a way where it's like, they don't make a big deal out of it.
Yeah.
It's a cool scene, and they
Subtle.
make a little joke at the end. So I think the viewers left on a first watch being like, huh, well, that was weird. I guess it's just cartoon logic. He can redirect lightning.
Right.
But then there's a deep story to it,
There sure is.
and we'll get to it.
You sure will. How about on the other boat?
We see how proficient Aang has become at waterbending, because the mast of the ship falls down, gonna crush Sokka and the fishermen, and Aang springs into action with a quick waterbending move, directs 3 streams that split it in half as fast as lightning. Sorry to use that turn of phrase. And he's come a long way. Like, that was incredible waterbending.
It was, yeah.
He wasn't even in the Avatar state. That was like a master move. He just surgically cut that mast in half.
And dude, how about when they pick up the fishermen in Sokka? Appa absolutely whips them up onto his saddle like a pro.
That was stupid.
It was crazy.
That was bad.
You didn't like it?
That force would crush them of the rope around them, whip through the air. That would tighten that thing like a noose around their guts. Let's be charitable and say it's some kind of rope that doesn't transfer the force of the pull into the tightness of the loop. That's fine. Just the force of being whipped like that would give them whiplash. And all they had to do, it's not like it was imperative that they had to rope them.
If you guys didn't think Mike was a logical thinker, this is a prime example.
I'm not done.
Now you know.
It wasn't even imperative that they do this move. Appa could have just landed on the ship. And they could have got on. And they didn't even set up the rope. There was no moment where Aang says, like, tie yourselves. He's on the ship. Very next cut, they have a rope tied around them. It's like, okay, we just telepathically decided we were going to do this insane rope plan when we could just get on Appa. I don't like it.
Mike said, I thought it was a pretty cool little move. I thought Appa looked pretty athletic.
He was whipping it. He was whipping the flipping the guys.
He did it like a pro. After Appa gets engulfed in that giant wave when they're leaving the boat, Aang performs the same Avatar state move that encapsulated him into that spherical iceberg, but this time it's air. And he takes everyone, gets them back on the saddle, and they all fly into the eye of the storm. And here we have Aang and Zuko catching a glimpse of each other. They're in the eye of the storm now. We've just had an entire episode seeing how similar they are to each other. It's like almost sad to know that they're looking at each other right now and they have no clue.
You're right. They still feel the same way about each other. They've learned more about themselves, hopefully, but not about each other. And that doesn't come for a long time.
Comes a little bit in the next episode, though.
Oh.
In the Blue Spirit.
Oh, wow. Wait a second.
Don't forget.
I think this series just started, brother.
I'm telling you, man, the show really unlocks with this episode.
The unsung hero of this episode, and to be honest, Avatar, is the music. I don't know if it was just how well this episode was put together, but the music just drove me through this episode. The suspense, the emotional depth when we got to see what they lost in their past, and then the action in the end, the music was just a heartbeat that kept me going. I've recently realized how important music is to storytelling. It's ever present in all the movies we've watched since we were kids and the shows, like the scores of everything. And so I think I've always taken it for granted. Recently, I've become acquainted with how important it is because I mentioned I like to listen to like D&D podcasts. I'm listening to one called Worlds Beyond Number, and they have a producer and sound designer who writes original music
Really?
he edits the show, and then he writes original music to score the show like a movie.
That's crazy.
And it brings it to the next level.
I bet.
It is insane, and he's also like insanely talented. I'm like, oh my god. Because he uses, like, just like this show, leitmotifs for different characters and different sections of instruments for different areas in the world. They use the music to cue things to you emotionally. Just as like when in college, you remember our roommate Alex loves music.
Big time.
And I remember he would tell us about what he learned about music. My introduction to music was being forced to learn piano as a kid. And so I kind of always thought music was lame. And I think a lot of kids have that experience. But one thing that sticks out was he talked about how important the drum line was, or the drums. Once he asked me, what's the heart of the song? And I was like, I don't know, the vocals. That's all I'm listening to.
That's all I ever listened to.
I'm like, okay, maybe the guitar, that's what's in the front. He's like, no, dude, it's the drums. And I was like, not convinced. And then, of course, he convinced me. But I think music is like the drums of a TV show. It keeps the tempo. It gives you the buy-in, It's the emotional weight. You feel it.
100%. The composers of the soundtrack for this show, Jeremy Zuckerman, Benjamin Wynn, they loved this show. It was a passion project for them. They call them the track team. That's what they're known as, because they obviously work on other projects. The reason I know this is from watching the YouTube videos of Avatar analyses that we've talked about, but also that Avatar Spirits documentary. It has a section in it about the music, and I'm excited for you to see it.
I love the music. I'm broadening my horizons even more, like really starting to pay attention, because there's a lot of intentionality with how they use it, and I'm finding the more attention I pay, the more it pays off.
Well, we can talk more about it in the next episode, because the Blue Spirit introduces Zuko's... The Blue Spirit introduces Zuko's second leitmotif.
Is it the Sungi horn?
Yes.
Like the deep, mournful howl of the horn.
Yep.
Okay, I picture it now.
Yep.
Audience, picture me picturing it now.
So yeah, we can definitely dive into the music, because that is very uncommon for a character to have two leitmotifs, and they use them brilliantly. As this episode comes to an end, I really appreciate how Aang and Zuko have taken these actions that are good and reflect their true selves. And just as they do that, the storm comes to an end. So it's like a metaphorical representation showing us that when you are yourself, your true self, it results in just positivity, good weather.
When you live according to your ideals, the storm within yourself resolves.
Absolutely. And I think that's just a great way to close out this episode. After all, it's the point of the episode at the end of the day, right?
I mean, it is called the storm.
It is called the storm. And as that storm comes to an end, we get Zuko looking up at the sky. He knows that Uncle Iroh has walked up, and he takes that opportunity to genuinely apologize.
Uncle, I'm sorry.
Your apology is accepted.
And Iroh wastes no time in reinforcing that behavior.
How do you write a character like that? Like Zuko, I'm referring to right now. Just beautiful. Apologizes in the end.
Just incredible. And speaking of apologies, when we get back from saving everybody with Aang and the old man, as argumentative as he is, he does still apologize to Aang and thank him for saving his life. And you love to see it. He doesn't pay Sokka, though. Well, he gives him a fish.
One final apology. We are sorry for how long this episode is. I'm sure the edit didn't save it.
It's so good.
Thank you for listening to this episode of the Restoring Balance podcast. We appreciate you.
And we'll see you next time for another banger episode.
The Blue Spirit. In the meantime, remember, the safety of the crew does matter.
And make sure you always save a spot on your team for Jinju. Just like how the air nomads have their cloaks, if you will, I guess.
I won't.
Is that what you would call the
robes? Monk robes.
I'll re-say it in case we like it better for that. in the same way, the air nomads have their. I already forgot what we
Monk
said.
robes.
Monk robes. Okay.